Legendary.
Hey guys, our friend Tab was kind enough to join us the other night and record us playing a bunch of maps. He spectated from multiple perspectives using first and third person camera. You can't use free cam in quick play because you can cheat, obviously. You can only use free cam in custom games, but that's fine. This is still going to be fun, getting multiple angles, and I hope we can do more of these in the future. This is our Eichenwalde defense. I'm going to jump into the comps. The attacking team has a somewhat deathball comp. Ryan and Roadhog have fairly decent synergy. I like them together, to be honest. Getting a hook on a target and using Ryan to isolate the target is actually very effective. Widow loves shields. Ana loves tanks. Genji doesn't really synergize with this line at all, but there is enough high ground on this map that he can capitalize if he's smart. Our comp is pretty good. I feel like clapping, but I think we've just had some unlucky reviews, to be honest. But we got Ryan Zarya. Ryan Zarya only works on this map if the other team is running Ryan. I want to emphasize that because if they take first point and their tanks go Winston D.Va for the castle phase, we almost certainly lose with this comp. Almost certainly. Anyways, so Ryan versus Ryan is always good. If they have a Ryan, it's good to have a Ryan and vice versa. So overall, this comp works well. The double long range hit scan I actually appreciate on Eichenwalde, especially second point. Having the long range hit scan is very good. McCree's good on all 3 points. These two will do a good job of dispatching your typical meta flankers like Tracer and Genji and Pharah, and the not so popular Doomfist. So our DPS line should be able to take care of a lot of their DPS, which is good. And the Widow v Widow is important here, especially on the castle phase. So yeah, that's enough about that. I captured this moment because I wanted to talk about first point. This is just 40 seconds in. From Colty's perspective, we're looking at first point, and this is the lodge, and here's the other high ground area above the gate. I want to talk about a good position to hold this map on. I don't know, I still don't know if I want to like start imploring pro strats into our quick play games. It's something that I haven't really been doing, just because, I don't know, I haven't been asked to, and I feel like it might be a little over the top, but I think it's good to talk about these concepts just to give you a better understanding of how the game works. So I'm going to talk about pro positioning regardless. So typically in a quick play or comp game, what you do on first point defense is you hold the choke under the bridge, right? And you hold the choke and the left flank that they added in a recent update. That can work a lot of the time, especially with cheese comps, but you do run a couple risks. The flankers can get to you pretty easily if they're smart. Like Tracers can just blink through the choke from the left and get straight onto one of your supports. Pharah can just fly over on the right side or the left side. Genji can wall climb over various portions of first point. And basically what I'm trying to say is it's easy to infiltrate that hold. So as you know, I watch a lot of pro play, and 9 times out of 10, they let people in that choke. And what they will do is they will prioritize both of these back high grounds, with the lodge being the #1 priority. And yes, this is the lodge. So I want to just talk about this particular game. We have a Widow. And we can hold this lodge here We could have, you know, like our tank line down behind the cart with Monster just to help him out. We could have one of our healers up here, like the Mercy, and then our Lucio down here to help everyone move around the point. But what we'll have here is a pretty well sustained Widowmaker with eyes on every possible route and ears, including this high ground. And we have control over the point, and we can pivot any direction they approach us at. What they have to deal with this is a Genji, and I can't remember if they have the Widow already. We'll just say they have the Widow and the Genji. So they don't have much to deal with Terrapin. I'm just going to assume Terrapin wins the Widow battle every time. He's not a bad Widow, and we have heals on him. So he wins the Widow 1v1 every time. What the fuck is Genji going to do to take care of Terrapin? The Genji's not going to be able to kill him because we have such a strong position on the point and such a strong presence. The Genji's not going to be able to touch him. He'll only be able to poke from a distance, and maybe Terrapin will kill himself on a deflect. But I hope you're like starting to see why it would have been better if we just held the Lodge. This is all from a pro perspective, though. I don't expect us to be imploring this stuff, but maybe it'll get you thinking a little bit more about positioning. I could probably keep talking about the Lodge and that first point defense for 5-10 more minutes, but I want to move along. So I'll back it up a few seconds. The first fight goes to shit pretty much immediately. So Terrapin was kind of far forward and got hooked immediately. That's the risk you run with the choke and with the two chokes, right? They already saw an opening because we have one barrier and they have a hog who can pick either choke and just get a hook, get a pick, boom, they're in. So we should have lost here, but Colty does a really good job of delaying, while their McCree and their Hog have a really tough time killing him. That Hog should have killed Colty there with that whole Hog, but instead he turned and faced us, leaving Colty up to his same old games. Taurus comes in, gets a nice shatter, and we clean up. So I want to say something. 9 times out of 10, that Hog that just looked at you is literally just going to run at you. You are alone. He has 600 health and a hook, and you're just a feeble body who can't do shit about it. He's going to run at you, so you should run for your life. As you can see, we already started falling back behind point. I think I called for us to just hold point. But you can already see the positional advantage we have. We can see the Rhine moving in. We can block out any angles using Taurus. We can use the cart even. So Alia gets killed by the Fire Strike. I desperately grabbed here. I'm an aggressive Zarya. I do this a lot. The more I use grab, the more I can build another one. That's kind of my philosophy with grab. So sometimes I risk it. That Ryan wisened up and actually clubbed Colty, which he should have done a long time ago. Stabilizing again, but hardly. They need 1 tick. So this is where we lose first point. I don't know if Colty was like trying to get away from a hook or something, but he got picked off way in front of us. Which I believe then led Taurus to charge in out of spite or as revenge. I don't know. But he charged in at the Roadhog. I'm trying to see if his arrow is... There he is. Little yellow arrow. That's Taurus. He's up at the choke right now, fighting the Roadhog that he just charged. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I've noticed that Taurus is... I don't need to speak like that. I noticed that you, Taurus, have been going for more creative plays, which is good. But in this particular case, they got a pick on us, and they've already gotten inside. They've gotten a positional advantage on the point, and we are vulnerable as shit. Obviously, I can't hear comms right now. It might have been cluttered, and you may have been distracted by something. But Taurus should have immediately fell back and protected us on point whenever anything like that happens. Even if you have Shatter, like, you only want to go for the tricky Shatters if you know your team's not going to die, which is not the case here. We are certainly going to die now. The super tricky stall isn't going to work 3 times in a row. They're eventually going to get it. So, reset. It's time for the castle phase. Generally favors the D.Va comps or the long range hit scan comps. It's very Widow dominant stage. The only reason our comp works here is because they have Genji Widow. Those are the only 2 heroes that are going to utilize the high ground, and we have enough to deny that. The rest of their comp has to play the ground game to push that cart all the way up to point. So the majority of their team has to play the ground game the entire way. So our comp is fine because we're good with the ground game. So the castle is basically just a fight between both the DPS, which I'm okay with. And like, you can do cool shit like this with McCree on castle phase, which I love. Like, McCree is actually super fun on this stage. It's hard to get value out of Deadeye nowadays, but when you get to jump off a giant castle, it's a good feeling. So castle's kind of just a thorn in the enemy team's side at this point. Terrapin has full control right now, and they aren't really going to do anything about it, other than the Widow. But again, their comp is, they have to play the ground game. They can't really do much else. So we're in good shape. So they pop walls, and Monster just like runs at the Widow. I don't know why. He probably just was talking to his fiance or something. That Widow's got 1 health. That was really good by Alia. I know she had 1 health, but it's good to just look for those things. He was conscious of the Widow, which is good. I grab here to try to seal the deal in this fight, I should say. Didn't quite work, but still pretty even. I got hooked into the pit. Colty gets a really, really, really high value double boop. And then he skipped that Roadhog off the edge. I remember that shit. That was so funny. So I believe we stabilize here. Colty pretty much carried that fight. Yeah, he gets like 4 kills. 4 boops. So this part gets a little tricky because they can walk right through castle and immediately they're at the cart, which can be scary. I I like Monster's thinking here. He knows that they're going castle, so he's gonna try to get a sneak Deadeye. He's shooting at this Rhine though. And that McCree saw him, and this whole plan is pretty much foiled if they're coherent at all in communicating. So, I mean, we just watched the two McCrees troll each other, so I don't really know exactly what happened, but we lost that fight. And I know they used a couple ults because I heard them. So third point, before they patched this map, it was optimal to hold the two forward chokes, the two small doors here and here, because the main gate would completely seal, right? So they wouldn't have any advantage from the bridge. They couldn't see in from the bridge. They wouldn't be able to see us until they actually got to one of these two chokes. So it's really good to run like Death Ball, May, all that shit, and just bounce between the chokes and just keep fucking them when they come in. But now that they patched that out, it doesn't work anymore. So they have advantage over the cart until basically like these stairs right here, the first like descent, but it screws you. So I find it's optimal to hold this first corner, kind of in this higher area, and once they start pushing you back, you can hold them in this lower corner and have your hit scan retreat to the high ground, because once the cart turns this bend, all the fights will occur right here where your hit scan will have full advantage of them. That being said, I feel like there's not too many tricks to third point. It's pretty straightforward positioning wise. Obviously these flanks can be a little stressful when you're on defense, but good communication and just good scouting will help remedy that. So our positioning, I think, I only watched this video once and I like skipped through it. I think our positioning was pretty fucking rock solid here. See, once the cart gets to this point though, like Monster and Terrapin need to get to high ground, which they do. It just takes a little while. So I grabbed there for one reason. This fucking Rhine. He gets a two-man shatter and charges in, leaving his whole team wide open. So I grabbed the whole team, hoping that we could balance the fight out. So that was good cleanup. Terrapin should probably be high ground by now. He almost got hooked there, but he was bubbled. It's risky Widow play. You know, I appreciate the extra shield break, but yeah, you're gonna get more value up here. They're running McCree now, which I forgot to mention. So what the fuck are they gonna do about Monster and Terrapin? Not a whole lot. We have strong ground game. The Genji comes back here, but we're too much for him to handle. Like, he cannot handle these guys on his own. The McCree might get a couple shots in, but the McCree is not very smart, and we have a good advantage on him. Like, they can't do much about the pressure we're applying on them. They have to dedicate a lot of resources to our DPS players, and they're resources that they don't have, because Taurus and I are just gonna fucking take every inch from them on the cart. Colty had a really good game here. Yeah, that was sick, dude. I do feel like saying I'm pretty proud of you guys, though. Or proud of us in general. That was a pretty good game. Like, minus not using pro strats, our positioning has definitely improved a lot, and I can tell people's game sense is getting better. Obviously, a lot of it needs to be worked on, but it's getting better, and I love seeing that. But yeah, this was a good game. I hope you learned a little bit about Eichenwalde. And I hope we can get more of these spectator POVs. And I really hope that the replay function will let me record our quick plays, because I would love to stop and free cam and break every fight down, because that would be awesome. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. So yeah, good job guys. Keep recording them. Thanks for watching.